Alright, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Nursery Domain, and we're going to read 4, 5, and 6 today from Numbers. I'm probably going to get a haircut here soon, because this is just like, this is the longest my hair's been, and the fact it's touching my shoulders is just like crazy, but I'm probably going to get this cut soon, because it has been like getting in the way of stuff and all that, so like, just be ready when you see me have like, my hair is like completely trimmed up. But I'm not gonna go super short. So it's not today, but in the near future, I'll probably let you guys know right before I go and get it that my hair's gonna change. So, um, all right. See how it just doesn't stay back and I don't like tying it back because I don't like that look. So I'm probably gonna just get it all cut outright. So, all right, 4, 5, and 6. So the Kohathites, chapter 4. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Take a census of the Kohathites, branch of the Levites by the clan and families. Count all the men and 30 to 50 years of age who come to serve and work at the tent of meeting. This is the work of the Kohathites at the tent of meeting, the care of the most holy things. When the camp is to move, Aaron and his sons are to go and take down the shielding curtain and put it over the Ark of the Covenant law. Then they are to cover the curtain with a durable leather spread a cloth of solid blue over that, and put the poles in place over the table of the presence. They are to spread a blue cloth and put it onto the plates, dishes, and bowls, and the jars of offering. The bread that is continually there is to remain on. They are to spread a scarlet cloth over them, cover that with the durable leather, and put the poles in place. They are to take a blue cloth and cover the lampstand that is for the light together, that with its lamps, its wick, trimmers, and trays, and all its jars for the olive oil used to supply it. Then they are to wrap it and all its accessories in a covering of durable leather and put it on a carrying frame. Over the gold altar they are to spread a blue cloth and cover that with a durable leather and put the poles in place. So he's talking about covering up. They're talking about covering up the entire Ark of the Covenant law right now. I guess they didn't make a covering for it yet, and that's what they're doing here. So from how it sounds, at least, they are to take all the articles used for ministering in the sanctuary, wrap them in a blue cloth, cover that with the durable leather, and put them on a carrying frame. They are to remove the ashes from the bronze altar and spread a purple cloth over it. They are to place on it all the utensils used for ministering at the altar, including the fire span, meat forks, shovels, and sprinkling bowl. Over it, they are to spread a covering of the durable leather and put the pole in place. After Aaron and his sons have finished covering the holy furnishing and all the holy articles, they are holy articles, and when the camp is ready to move, only then will the Kohathites to come to come and Kohathites to come and do the carrying, but they must not touch the holy things, or they will die. So again, God made it clear that like you touch anything here, or some of you guys enter this tent, you're dead. You're not gonna survive after you do any form of touching of anything holy here. And that's just how he feels. All right, the the Kohathites are to carry those things that are in tent of meeting. Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, is to change the is to have charge of the oil for the light and fragrant incense and regular grain offering and the anointing oil. He is to be in charge of the entire tabernacle and everything in it, including its holy furnishing and articles. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "See that the Kohathites tribal clan are not destroyed from among the Levites, so that they may live and not die. When they come near the most holy things, do this for them. Aaron and his sons are to go into the sanctuary and assign to each man his work and what he is to carry, but the Kohathites must not go in and look at the holy things even for the moment, or they will die." So you can't even walk inside this tent without, like, if you walk in it, you walk in it and look at something, like, look at something like even remotely holy, you're dead. That's dangerous right there. This piece of hair right here is bothering me. Doesn't stay like it's all right. Yeah, I definitely need a haircut. All right. The Gershonites. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the census also of the Gershonites by their families and clan. Count all the men from 30 to 50 years of age who come to serve in the work at the tent of meeting." This is the service of the Gershonites clan in carrying and their other work. They are to carry the curtains of the tabernacle. This is the tent of meeting. Its covering and outer covering are of durable leather. The curtains for the entrance to the tent of meeting. The curtains of the courtyard surrounding the tabernacle and altar. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard. The ropes and all the equipment used in the service of the tent. The Gershonites are to do all that needs to be done with these things. All their services, whether carrying or doing other work, is to be done under the direction of Aaron and all his sons. You shall assign to them as their responsibility all they are to carry. This is the service of the Gershonite clan at the tent of meeting. Their duties are to be under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. So, as you can see, it looks like God's like trying to make sure people don't go in the tent and do looking like things like that. It's one of those things that, like, it's a very, very holy place, and God just doesn't want it messed up, you know. And it would be crazy to walk in there and somebody just looked at something and ended up like dying in there. Like how would you even go in there, like, knowing that you can't look at anything holy? What if the first thing you glanced at was holy? What if you accidentally did that? Then would that end your life instantly? Like, you walk in there and, like, you glanced real quick before you even walked in the door. You didn't know what was behind the door. So how are you going to survive that? All right. The Merarites, the Memorites, the Memorites by their clan and their families count all the men of the 30 to 50 years of age who come to serve in the work at the tent of meeting. As part of all their services at the tent, they are to carry the frames of the tabernacle, crossbars, posts and base is as well as the posts surrounding courtyard with bases, tent pegs, ropes, all the equipment and everything related to their use. Assigned to each man the specific things he is to carry. This is the service of the Memorites clan as they work at the tent of meeting under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. So he's directing everybody what to do here. In case you haven't noticed, they all have like some sort of like different thing they need to do. Each clan needs to do something completely different than the other one. So the numbering of Levites clan, Moses and Aaron, the leader of the community, counted the Kohathites, by their clan and families. All the men from 30 to 50 years of age who came to serve in the work at the tent of meeting, counted by the clans, were 2,750. This was the total of all those in the Kohathites clan who served at the tent of meeting. Moses and Aaron counted them according to the Lord command through Moses. The Gershonites were accounted by their clans and families, all men from 30 to 50 years of age who came to serve in the work at the tent of meeting, counted by their clans and families, were 2,630. This was a total of those in the Gershonite clans who served at the tent of meeting. Moses and Aaron counted them according to the Lord's command. The Memorites were accounted by their clans and all families. All the men from 30 to 50 years of age who came to serve in the work at the tent of meeting, counted by their clans, 3,200. This was the total of those in the Memorite clan. Moses and Aaron counted them according to the Lord's command through Moses. So Moses and Aaron and the leaders of Israel counted all the Levites by their clan and families, all the men from 30 to 50 years of age who came to do the work of serving and carrying the tent of meeting. Numbered 8,580. The Lord commanded through Moses. Each was assigned his work and told what to carry. Thus, they were accounted as the Lord commanded Moses. So we're on chapter 5 right now. It was pretty fast. So as you can see, the Lord's doing a lot of stuff where he's giving certain clans certain form of work. He's counting everybody. I guess the Lord didn't know how many people were on the planet, so he felt the need to like have Moses also count at the same time and look at people by age and stuff like that. That's kind of why I believe that's kind of why we got a census going on now. I'm not sure how the census works today. I don't know if they actually go and count you or what they do, but it just seems like it's one of those things where they keep track of like everybody that's like in the world or the United States or whatever. So all right, so we're doing pretty good. The purity of the camp. Chapter 5. The Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites to send away from the camp anyone who has a defiling skin disease or discharge of any kind, or who is ceremonially unclean because of the dead body, send away male and female alike, send them outside the camp, so they do not defile their camp. Where I dwell among them, the Israelites did so. They sent them outside the camp. They did just as the Lord had instructed Moses. Restitution for wrongs. So, yeah, the Lord said, don't allow people in the camp that are sick. We don't really need them here because they're going to get other people sick. So, well, not sick, but ceremonial unclean because, you know, you have to think of it this way. It's like an illness where a sickness where if you cough on somebody, they'll get that. It's contagious. And that's why I think the Lord has them leave, you know. So that's just what I'm getting from it. Restitution for wrongs. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, any man or woman who wrongs another in any way is so unfaithful to the Lord is guilty, and must confess the sins they have committed. They must make full restitution for the wrong they have done, and add a fifth of the value to it, and give it to the person to give it all to the person they have wronged. So so I'm not sure what restitution is. Let me look that up real quick because I want to see what that is. Hold on. Restitution has to be a way of like in giving an item in reverse for what's. So hold on. Restitution meaning in the Bible. All right. Putting an act of right what has been done wrongly. So they're to it's a correction. It's a form of correction. Okay, so I wasn't sure what that meant because there's some things that our modern day law does that like I know of. I don't know a lot of, but I understand a lot of the modern day law and how it works. There's a lot of stuff that also it's sketchy because of what you do. Like, having the right to bear arms in your house when somebody enters your house, you have the right to attack that you have the right to defend yourself. Well, my question is what if you defend yourself and you get wronged for it? Then what? Because that can happen too, where there's incidences in today's world where like you defend yourself and you end up going to jail because you defended yourself. That is like literally like people are like follow the law and stuff like that, but the law is wrong sometimes. How do you handle this kind of stuff? So let's keep going. But if that person has no close relatives to whom restitution can be made for the wrong, the restitution belongs to the Lord and must be given to the priest along with the ram, with the atonement is made for the wrongdoers. All the sacred contributions the Israelites bring to the priest will belong to him. Sacred things belong to their owners, but what they give to the priest will belong to the priest. So, the reason I say that is because, example, I was in a situation a little while ago that wasn't exactly good on my part. And the problem is, in today's age, we have a lot of people getting clever with the law. So, like an example, that a lot of people do this, and this is something I think is very, very, it's very unethical is the best way to say unethical. But these people have explained to me that you can go into like the army, all right, and you can turn around, and if you don't like somebody, you can beat them up, and then you can put your army patch back on, and you're automatically to go scot-free. That's how they treat the That's how people from the military get away with a lot of stuff, and that's the worst part about it is like I'm not talking poorly about people in the military, but people in the military are slick. They get away with a lot of stuff, and that's partly why I'm okay. I'm appreciative of what they do, even though they're not doing much right now. But at the same time, I'm also not appreciative of the fact that they can get away from like doing whatever they want. Because that right there should be, people should have, some people should go to jail for what they do. But but it's like one of those things where if you're in the army, you can pretty much get away with whatever you want because you're U.S. property at that point, which is completely and utterly unfair. If I had it my way, if I had it my way and I was the president, I'm gonna say this: I'd make a law where even they could get in trouble for doing nasty, messed up stuff to any average person, and then that would change a lot of stuff. But they get away with too much. That's what I would make as a law, because I do see that I've seen that happen to me where like I get treated very poorly, and the one time I got really I had some well I'm not gonna talk about it fully, but like the one time I had something happen to me, and the reason the guy, I don't know if the guy actually went to jail over it, but he explained he was out of the army, and I remember I got taken to court over it, but he didn't get taken to court over it, and it was one of those like really bad situations where like I was trying to help somebody get out of a bad situation, and then they turned around and kept putting the person in a bad situation. So it was like one of those things. Did the person even go to jail or anything like that? And it's like this is a problem with, yeah, the United States military is good, but it's slowly declining because of stuff that's going on right now. But at the same time, I believe if you do something wrong to somebody, you still have every right in the world, regardless if you're U.S., like you're owned by the United States military or not. I still think you should go to jail because that you're being a scumbag then because you think you can get away with whatever you can, and that's utterly unfair that that kind of stuff can take place like that. That's the worst part about it is like somebody needs to change that rule up a little bit. No offense. All right. Test for an unfaithful wife. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if if a man's wife goes astray and is unfaithful to him, so that another man has sexual relations with her and is hidden from her husband, and her impurities is undetected, since there is no witness against her, and she has not been caught in the act, and if feeling of jealousy come over her husband and suspect his wife, and she is impure, or if he's jealous and suspects her even though she is not impure, then he is to take his wife to the priest. He must also take an offering of tenth of ephah of barley flour on her behalf. He must not pour olive oil on it or put incense on it, because it is a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder offering to draw attention to the wrongdoing. The priest shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord. Then he shall take the same holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water. After the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place her hands, the reminder offering, the grain offering for jealousy, while he himself holds bitter water, holds the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relations with you, you and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water bring a curse, not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband, and you have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with another man other than your husband, here the priest is to put the woman under the curse. May the Lord cause you to become a curse among people when he makes your womb miscarry, and your embodiment. Good morning, Terry. Embodiment, may this water that brings you a curse enter your body, so that your embodiment swells or your womb miscarries. Then the woman is to say, Amen, so be it. The priest is to write these curses on a scroll and then wash them off into the bitter water. He shall make the woman drink the bitter water that brings a curse, and this water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering will enter her. The priest is to take from her hands the grain offering for jealousy, wave it before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. The priest is then to take a handful of grain offering as a memorial offering and burn it on the altar after that. He is to have the woman drink the water if she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband. This will be the result when she is made to drink the water that brings a curse and causes her bitter suffering. It will enter her abdomen, will swell, her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. If, however, the woman has not made herself impure, but is clean, she will be cleared of guilt and will be able to have children. This, then, is the law of jealousy when a woman goes astray and makes herself impure while married to her husband, or when feeling of jealousy come over a man because he suspects his wife. The priest is to have her stand before the Lord and to apply this entire law to her. The husband will be innocent of any wrongdoing, but the woman will bear the consequence of her sin. So, yeah, as you can see, the Lord made that one a really, really rough one. That's why, like, back then, even now, this if this was to take effect right now, the world would be in really bad shape. There'd be a lot of women suffering right now because, I'm not saying all of them, and I don't know how many women are actually out there cheating, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and like with OnlyFans and all that right now going on the internet quite often, and them having a boyfriend or being married and doing all that, God would have literally killed a bunch of people by now if he was doing what he's doing here. That's just rough to say, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Where like people are literally out there doing whatever they want, no fear of God, just thinking they can do whatever they want, and in the long run, they'll receive the I want to say punishments from God that they have been enduring all along. You can't just go through life thinking everything's going to be all fine and dandy. There's always going to be something that happens that's going to show you, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. Hey, you need to change a little bit. Hey. All right. 18. I'm sorry. King James Version is a rough one. I say unto you that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. Matthew 18:20. Where two or three are gathered together in the name, there I am in the midst of them. Yeah, like, and I like those because those pretty much, example of what's going on here too, and it's one of those things that, like, no matter how you look at it, we strayed away from God in a big way, and I don't know exactly when we did that. It's weird to think that like this whole time period was built around the belief and understanding that God exists, and then you had the paganisms doing their own thing, which you'll find out later on. I don't know I'm not sure when, but I know it's coming up later on where it's like, I believe in Judges, where, Saul has something really, really bad happen to him, all because of paganisms, and there's a death over it, and, they actually went in to fight him, and it just, and I don't know why we ended up, like, drifting off into that belief structure the past, like, I want to say, like, 15 to 20 years. We drifted off into a belief structure where we're actually like following what's paganism right now, which is very weird when you think about it, because the uprise of the holy religion, yes, it's on an uprise again. It's coming back, because I even saw a version of Gen Z that's creating a Bible. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear that, but then again, if people need to get themselves right and go to a religion, well, that's gonna be, that's gonna be good for people. But at the end of the day, this is stuff they took seriously back then, long ago, because it was a life or death situation. You feared God. All right. So, real quick, Terry, I want to read the King James version, but there's stuff in it that's just so hard to pronounce. That's why I'm not bothering to read that one. I mean, maybe one day I'll get around to reading that one here on the channel, but that one's just a little bit out of context for me because it's just written in a way that's very, very hard to, hard for me to read off. Because somebody tried explaining it to me, some of the stuff in it, and it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy how it's written, but it was from a different time period too. So the language was like spoken a little bit different, like more. I want to say it was more. How do I want to say this? I guess I could say it was more professional to speak that way, because it was still proper English, but it was the most popular. And then when the internet and everything came about, we started seeing the change in everything. And so like that's why so often we see we see um we see everything change so often in today's world. And that's why when you think about it, we really, really drifted away from even proper English and proper like speaking and all that. All right, the Nazarite, chapter 6. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man or a woman wants a vow of dedication to the Lord as Nazarite, they must abstain from wine and other fermented drink, and must not drink vinegar made from wine or fermented drink. They must not drink grape juice or eat grapes or raisins, as long as they remain under their Nazarite vow. They must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, not even the seeds or skins, during the entire period of the Nazarite vow. Now, no razor may be used on their head. They must be holy until the period of their dedication to the Lord is over. They must let their hair grow long. Throughout the period of the dedication to the Lord, the Nazarite must not go uh, near a dead body, even if their own father or mother or brother or sister dies. They must not make themselves ceremonially unclean on account of them, because the symbol of their dedication to God is on their head. Throughout the period of their dedication, they are consecrated to the Lord. If someone dies suddenly in the Nazarite's presence, thus defiling the hair that symbolizes their dedication, they must shave their head. On the 7th day of their cleansing, then on the 8th day, they must bring 2 doves or two young pigeons to the priest at the entrance of the tent of meeting. The priest is to offer one as sin offering and the other as a burnt offering, to make atonement for the Nazarite, because they sinned by being in the presence of the dead body. The same day they are to consecrate their head again, they must rededicate themselves to the Lord for the same period of dedication, and must bring a year-old lamb as a guilt offering. The previous day do not count because they became defiled during their period of dedication. Now, this is the law of the Nazarites when the period of dedication is over. They are to be brought to the entrance to the tent of meeting, and there they are to present their offerings to the Lord, a year-old lamb without defect for burnt offering, a year-old wee lamb without defect for a sin offering, a ram without defect of fellowship offering. Together their grain offerings and drink offerings, and baskets of bread made with the finest flour and without yeast, thick loaves with olive oil mixed in, and thin loaves brushed with olive oil. The priest is to present all these before the Lord and make them the sin offering and burnt offering. He is to present the basket of the unleavened bread, and is to sacrifice the ram as a fellowship offering to the Lord, together with grain offering and drink offering. Then at the entrance up to the tent of meeting, the Nazarite must shave off hair that symbolizes their dedication. They are to take the hair and put it in the fire that is under the sacrifice of the fellowship offering. After Nazarite has shaved off the hair that symbolizes their dedication, the priest is to place in their hand a boiled shoulder of the ram, and one thick loaf and one thin loaf from the basket, both made without yeast. The priest shall then wave these before the Lord as a wave offering. They are holy and belong to the priest, together with the breast that was waved and the thigh that was presented. After that, the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who vow offerings to the Lord in accordance with their dedication, in addition to whatever else they can afford. They must fulfill the vows they made according to the law of Nazarite. All right. So we're on to priestly blessings. All right. Priestly blessings. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his son, this is how you are to bless Israelites. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. So they will put my name on the Israelites and will be blessed." All right. So there you go. There's that. We actually did pretty good there. We got like 20 minutes left. A little bit more. So yeah, the Lord wanted things done a certain way, and we see here that he made it difficult for a lot of people who how do I want to say this? He pretty much made things really, really difficult, and he wanted you to understand that he wanted things done a certain way. So to get you to understand is to put like fear of God inside of you, which a lot of people don't have now. I heard a story of a basketball player a little while ago who let me see. All right, let's see. So Magic Johnson, okay, I read a story about this somewhere, but Magic Johnson, I don't know if the man's still alive, but there was one point in time where he just, I don't know what happened, but for some reason he randomly got AIDS, and it was on a sheet of the Bible. But like, what happened is, I believe he got cursed in some way, and I don't know what it was, and you can't. I know people would be like, well, you just can't randomly get AIDS. Well, there had to be something there that really, really, you know, maybe he was, behind the scenes. He didn't let his wife know, but maybe he was, out there having sex with other women outside of his marriage, and maybe that's what made him get AIDS. But there was a Bible pamphlet that said he magically ended up um, getting AIDS um, while being with his wife. So for all we know, he could have been out there, or he could have done something, so entirely horrible that he was how do you want to say? He was promiscuous with a bunch of women, and he got AIDS. This is an example of why I believe in the power of God and what God does for us all the time. This is why you don't question that kind of stuff. Also, a lot of people are out there, making a mockery of me reading this, but at the end of the day, what are you making a mockery of me for? I'm just trying to present you with the idea of this so that way you can go and you can make your life better. And, I tried explaining and showing people things that happen to me, and I secretly still, in the back of my mind, I still think that they think I'm crazy, which is perfectly fine and normal. They can think that all they want. But when it comes down to it, you look at it from afar and you see a lot of great interesting stuff happen to me, and then you turn around and you can look at it from one side. The guy was literally like, oh, I can't be saved. Well, that's not trying, buddy. That's not trying. That's why, like, when it comes down to it, a lot of the work you do, the way to get yourself to be blessed is put the Lord into your work. Watch the channel grow. I don't know what he thinks on his end. I haven't really, I've been talking to him behind the scenes, but he really doesn't seem to understand or believe in, the power of God or something like that, which, it's on him. A lot of people don't really believe in it, but I've had a lot of great things happen to me since yesterday. You know, Yesterday during the day, I had a lot of great things happen to me, even if it was, even if he don't see it that way. And that's something that's something I'd like to try to get people to understand, but it's just super hard to get somebody to understand something that they don't think even exists to begin with. But, at the end of the day, that's on them. That's not on me. I've tried redirecting people. I've tried bringing people, I tried getting people to see, but at this point, after doing it for so long, um, I'm just gonna keep talking about my daily life and what I'm doing and how good things are going for me. If somebody doesn't want to believe, then they don't believe. I'm not gonna, but I want people to realize that my belief structure has led me to some incredibly great things, and it's not gonna stop here. You know, like the YouTube channel I run that has like all my stuff here on it is literally the reason I strive to do this so much. I can't not do it. And plus, what I did is I made a covenant with God for this, and that's why it's grown so much. And if you're not out there, if you're not making like some sort of covenant with our God or something like that, you might want to consider doing it because you'll be blessed. But you have to find some way to have God appear and show Himself, which for me is numbers. Like, well, not numbers, the book here, but numbers as in the subscribers and stuff like that. And it can only grow and get better over time. And this is something like people shy away from me for, and that's on them. I'm not there to try to like push people into a belief structure they don't want to believe in. But if they keep seeing me be blessed and have great things, you can only hope then they started to question. People started to question why I have such a good day like a lot of times now. It's not hard to understand. I've explained it, but people don't get it. People never will. For them to fathom something such as the Bible, they would need to either come in here to listen, or like they would have to pick the Bible up themselves and learn from it. Unfortunately, people don't understand. that when you're sitting here literally reading, you're making a connection with God that you can't make any other way. And when God knows you're reading the Bible, you're making that ultimate connection with God Himself. And too many people are like, sitting there, they say they can't be saved and all that. I was like, and I simply said to him, I was like, I'm trying to show you the way, but if you're gonna be this difficult and not see the way, then buddy, this is on you. This is why I can't continue. This is why I can't continue to like try to explain it to you, And I look at it this way: anybody who doesn't want to believe, that's fine. Anybody who does want to believe, you're golden. But you have to put some emphasis of understanding behind it for your belief. Otherwise, to sit there and think that I'm just I'm doing something besides reading the Bible and praising the Lord is is a bit ridiculous, because outside of this, I'm either playing games. Like after I get out of here and upload a short, I gotta go do laundry today, so I don't even go out and socialize too much. But like at the end of the day, I look at it this way: they can believe what they want, but it's just all about in what sets in their head and what they think I'm possibly doing behind the scenes. Even though you know my whole life revolves around reading this book now, because I want to read through this and see what's going on. And like I even have a comic book going outside of this, but like it's just insane to think. It's just not insane, but it's crazy to think that people will think such so poorly of you. Well, not poorly, but people will be so confused of you when it comes down to it for reading the Bible and not understanding the whole belief structure of it, and I tried explaining it to people. I tried getting people to feel it. I tried getting people to, really, really understand it. And I will say this: yesterday, after I got off the stream, I was feeling some sort of way. And, I had anxiety. And then at one point, the anxiety just melted away. And that was a sign somebody prayed for me. So I went around and asked, I was like, well, who the heck prayed for me? Who the heck prayed for me and just made my anxiety melt away? And nobody answered. And nobody probably will answer, because the truth is, I don't know who prays. A lot of people have told me they don't understand this and they don't really believe in it. That's fine. Again, I'm not trying to crucify anybody who doesn't believe in it. But, when I go around and ask who prayed for me, it's one of those things that, like, who did pray for me? Who saved me a little bit? Who helped me a little bit? Who did that for me? And, at the end of the day, I would love to thank the person that did it, in a way. But, whoever you are, just know you got blessed. You probably got blessed for that. All right. So, but yeah, this whole thing is just wild to me, because it's like how the heck did I do all this with by just like uploading a couple shorts? How the heck did I do this with just staying focused? And like I said, it's wild to think about, but I know the reality of it is God exists. And if you really can't put that together, like somebody's doing really, really good, just think of it this way: it's you have to look at the facts, and you have to look at the proof. If you're not looking at any of that, then you're looking at other stuff. You're believing other stuff, and that's where, like, you know, for me, a lot of people know now that, like, well, I like to think a lot of people know now, but for some reason, people think I'm turning back to New Age spirituality, which is not something I had planned and not something I will be doing anytime soon, because I'm too far along in this to even want to remotely, consider that again. You know. Plus, you know, if this keeps rising the way it does, then I have no other option and no other choice to just sit there, and I have no other choice or no other religion or anything to go to, because why would I want to do that? Why would I want to, like, why would you want to ruin a good thing, first of all? You know, a lot of people don't understand when they have a good thing. So they'll go out and they'll ruin the good thing they have. And then later on, when a good thing they have walks away because they sat there and literally, you know, they sat there and literally ruined what they had to begin with. And I know a lot of people that ruin their own good thing they have gone, and they'll go and replace it with like something of lesser value, which is genuinely crazy when you think about it. Like me, I used to do that kind of stuff. I used to be a young guy who was like unaware of what was going on, and I always end up replacing something that was higher value to me with something that was less value to me. And that's something where I made a bunch of mistakes in my life when I did that, and it's always been something I try to watch what I do now. Sacrifice is what it is, and depending on what you sacrifice for one thing, you're gonna sacrifice it for the other, and that's just how it goes. Don't sacrifice something for something else thinking you're gonna get something great out of it, because sometimes you might not even do that. Sometimes you'll sacrifice something and you'll just be like, well, why did this happen to me? Why did I get something of lesser value? Because you chose to have something of lesser value. You did not choose something of higher value. And people got to look at it that way. What's more important to people? For me, the things that are important to me are a lot different than what's important to the next person. Like for me, money is nowhere near important. I'd rather have a social life and stuff like that. But we all know I have to have a job. I have to work. I have to pay the bills, because YouTube right now isn't doing anything for me. But eventually that's going to change. And that's where I sacrifice my time for something else. I sacrifice one thing for another, and hopes that, like, things change for me eventually. People looking at people on the internet, you can really see where people stand on stuff. Like, example, I could tell you somebody right now, but I can't bring their name up, that they choose money over people in relationships. Or you got the people that choose their relationships over money, and it goes in reverse like that. And then you got people who are so in love with their video game consoles that they'll sacrifice everything else for the video game console. You know? And that's incredibly crazy when it comes down to it. It's like some of these people that really, really idolize their consoles, they're so concerning sometimes. Like, you know, and it's crazy to see how the actual life cycle of a human being goes. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that, like, you can just look at the internet and see what people see as important, okay? So you know, like, you can really just look at Twitter right now, Facebook, and you can kind of just tell what's important to somebody when it comes down to it. That's pretty awesome. And that's where, like, we have to start understanding. If you really want something, you must sacrifice one thing for the other, and you'll get the one thing because you sacrificed it for the one thing that you actually wanted. That's how it works. There's a lot of people, I will say, they admire money too much over human beings, over their relationships. And when it comes down to it, that's in the end of how you're going to remain being by yourself. Now, me, I'm an example where I will sacrifice a whole discussion with friends and all that to go and sacrifice it for God. So God will give me blessings instead of me wasting time in chat talking to a bunch of people. I'm gonna get blessings later on because I'm giving all my attention to God. So, and why that's good is that God isn't gonna send me just one thing. God's going to send me things that I absolutely need. You know, God's going to send me things I absolutely need, and he knows that I want or I need, you know? So when I'm doing what I'm doing here, you know, you have to follow a rule when it comes down to this, and that is giving everything up to God and not holding yourself back from giving everything up to God. You cannot be in fear of something that's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, stuff like that. And people think it's wild that I think like that, but the reality of the truth is, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, you sacrificing a lot of stuff to get yourself in this mindset. So why would I be in fear of something, of not having something tomorrow, the next day, or next week? You know, if something's being taken out of my life, it's because literally God said he doesn't want that in my life, you know? So when I narrowed down to less days at work, it was because God was like, well, you know what? You're not very fond of the place, and I can tell, and your heart gets hardened when you go there. So I'm going to cut it down so you work enough hours to make your payments on your bills and stuff like that. But, you know, you're not going to be working as much. And I'm sacrificing for my, you know, my channels here. So, and people think I'm wild and crazy because of that, and people think it's like absolutely stupid. But for me, it's not, because to me, it's more important. That's just like you go out, you buy this super expensive PC, or you buy that, you know, you there's some people that buy handguns, okay? You buy that super expensive, nice whatever you want. All right? I could sit there and be like, okay, I think that's stupid. I don't think you need that. But to that person, that thing's important. You know, we have to remember what people do in their life, what people spend their money on. You can't go around and insult it because it's important to the person. It's important, and it's what they wanted. God blessed them with that, and you're sitting there judging a blessing from God because you feel a certain way. You feel like it's stupid. I don't sit there and insult what people buy too much because I have no right in the world to sit there and criticize somebody for buying something. But if you're spending, I will say this, if you're spending money on, you know, things you don't need, things that aren't good for you, like example, you know, there's some people that buy beer excessively, some people that buy cigarettes, some people that buy, like, you know, drugs and other stuff like that. You know, there's some people that pay for sexual intercourse. All right, that's stuff you don't need. That stuff I will judge you on, and that stuff I will say you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing it at all. Like, to pay for that kind of stuff, that's not something you should be paying for. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're paying for anything, to get anything out of anything, pay for one of these. Read one of these, pick it up, and you'll feel just as good as you do doing anything else. All right, like, I promise you, you read the Bible, you know, you're paying for stuff like, you know, you're paying for like products that are only going to last you a short time to make you feel good, okay? What if I told you that for 15 bucks at your bookstore? Hey, hang on. Let me look this up, cuz I'm going to go look this up because I want to find out how much an actual Bible is in a bookstore. And this is where I will get on the correction side of things, okay? So if I go to Amazon right now, let me go up to Amazon and find out how much a Bible is, and I will sit there and I will, like, you know, I don't make fun of what people buy, but the like things like drinking, drugs, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I will make fun of you for that because that's something you don't really need. You know, the stuff like video games and all that, I still have it back here, and I'm still capable of using it. But the one-time use items that you pay for are like the worst. Except for food, you need your food and all that. So, on Bible. So we're gonna look at prices. I'm gonna look at prices on Bible. All right. So if we, hold on, let me go ahead and fix something here. So, all right, let me just go ahead and pull the screen down so you guys can see. This is gonna last a little bit longer because I'm trying to make a valid point with this. All right, and then we'll say a prayer before I go. So let's just go to Amazon.com. All right, Amazon.com. Man, it messed up. That's not. Having a rough time. All right. So, if we were to type in Holy Bible, all right. So now, what's the ESV version? I have to look it up. So now, if you're sitting here and you're looking at this, why the heck is there a zodiac sign on this one? Oh no, that's not a zodiac sign. I was like, why are they putting a zodiac sign? This is a nice one though. This is something I would want. But okay, so look at the price of these, okay? For the price of these, for the price of your use of like cigarettes, drinking and beer, you could be buying one of these instead and have one of these to read to use your time wisely. You know, the King James version right here is like $7, you know. And even if you can't read that, they go into other versions of the Bible. Like this one is the New International Version, okay? Let me see if I can find this version on the internet somewhere. All right. All right, the NIV Holy Bible, okay? So, it's not this version, but this is a bestseller. All right? The cover of mine is a lot different. Let me see who made this. Zodervan. Okay, so Zodervan. Let me see if I can find this one. That one's not bad. That one's actually a really nice looking one. So I can't really find it, but this one might be the same one here. This is a large paperback, but this is like a lot cheaper. I got this one from a church I got baptized at like a few years back. I actually got baptized twice in my life, by the way, which I didn't think you could do, but like you can do it. You can get rebaptized. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting baptized a second time, but you can do it when you're much older and all that. And that's just something 40. Wow, that's a lot. But like looking at all this here, this is why I say you could be buying this instead of smoking cigarettes. You could be buying one of these instead of drinking beer. You could be buying one of these and come away from your sins from, paying for prostitution, because no offense, men actually do that crap. But it's just one of those things that like people really need to start stepping away from their sins so we can have a better world. And unfortunately, today's day and age is a lot different, and some things are just okay now, and they're really not supposed to be okay. Like I'm against a lot of things that's going on right now, and it's incredibly insane how we're at a time where like we've just like who the heck made prostitution okay? Who the heck made that okay? Because if I was in charge and I ran the laws and I was the president, I would cut that off. Prostitution is not okay, and that's why there's a very high rate of sexual diseases going around right now. Like, as for me, I'd be fine because I've been celibate for like 4 to 5 years, and this is why I try to stay away from like certain communities like the OnlyFans community and stuff like that, because I'm not entitled to change them, and I never will, and I know that. And people need to understand that. Like those communities, you're never gonna change. You're never gonna change people in those communities. Do not try and go and change them. The only way they are going to change is if they have something really, really tragic in their life, and they see something in their life that they're like, okay, I need to change, and eventually they will fall into the position where they know they need to change, but they have to have a lot of tragic things happen to them. And you can't get a person to change something if they don't have a feeling about it. Like for me, example, I know the Holy Spirit exists. It existed for me for a while. I knew it was real. I just stepped away from it because like, I didn't know how to get I didn't know how to like get it out there and make, I didn't realize I was going to do this. Like this wasn't even in the back of my head. This was just a simple idea I thought of one day. And I was like, okay,
I'm gonna see what happens if I do this. And there was a very, very great outcome. I felt great about it. So, you know, go with that feeling. If you have a feeling of doing something great online and it's related to God, go with it. Go with it. Like if your music is, if you're having trouble with music, all right, and you're having trouble making good music, like your lyrics are all about like real life situations. At some point in time, you might want to consider putting scriptures or something into putting Bible verses or whatever into your work, because that'll make the whole thing that'll make everything go a lot better for you, because that's the way that goes. God's blessing you. And I tried explaining this to somebody also who writes music. You look at bands that like add slight stuff like that into their music, like Black Veil Brides. I listen to those guys a lot, and it's because they have a lot of Bible scripture related verses in their music. That's why I listen to them a lot. I took a break from listening to them for a while because I listened to them like so much, and I kept listening to the exact same songs. And they have like 4 or 5 albums out right now, which is enough to like keep me still listening to them. But like you have to look at the artist and what they're writing, and you look at how like well they're doing in the music industry. Are they doing extremely well? Have they failed yet? A lot of people look at Black Veil Brides as like an emo screamo band that wears a lot of like tight clothing and face paint, which is, hey, that's exactly how you describe them. They're called glamour metal. Okay, but at the same time, you have to look at the lyrics and listen to the lyrics. I don't care about how they look. I don't care about how they look. It's the lyrics they're producing. It's the music they're actually just putting on display. Like when your actual title to your song consists of like Scarlet Cross, you automatically know what that's talking about. Or like Devil in the Mirror. That's talking about you going against your inner demons and defeating those inner demons. Or Drag Me to the Grave. Those are like, I believe one is called Steal My Coffin. Like it has really weird metaphors back to it, but that's why I listen to them. And a lot of people don't understand. You know, I Am Bulletproof is about how like, I don't know if it explains it, but like it's an example of how like you can armor yourself up by reading the Bible and praising God, and you feel like you're indestructible. Because I know I've been to that level where I came out of reading the Bible and I went into the Discord and people started giving me a hard time just to test the theory, and they were like, okay, I'm bored, I'm done doing this to you, so they stopped. And I was laughing because it's funny, because I know they're not intentionally trying to make me mad, but sometimes they do. They manage to make me mad, because sometimes words do hurt, regardless of how you say it. And they hurt, and what they hurt is they don't hurt you physically. They hurt your soul. They hurt your soul, and it damages your soul, and it brings you down to a whole new level. That's why like when you ever hear me say the power of spoken word, the power of spoken word is about raising your soul up from a dead position to a whole new higher position that isn't dead anymore. And you see me do that a lot here by reading the Bible. So when I'm at work, it's difficult because I don't have time to read the Bible. So my soul gets hit a lot and gets damaged, and then I feel bad and I start like drooping down. Well, to bring my soul back up, I usually end up having to pray. And sometimes I can't even do that because the method I work is I can't do anything related to religion, or else I get in trouble. So I go behind the scenes and do some things, and then I go behind the scenes, do some things, and hide from people. But all right, so I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm gonna say a prayer before I do. So stick around for the prayer. And all right, so Lord Jesus Christ, I pray to you today, to make people understand the power of word and how it works, Lord. Bring spirits, make them understand that the power of the word is to bring your spirit back to, a high form, a high, well, when your spirit, let them know how the power word works. Make them understand that like keeping your spirit high is what they need to do. And if they need to, if anybody needs it today, Lord, break them of anxiety. Anytime you see them get anxiety, touch them with the Holy Spirit. And also, Lord, bless people as always today. Bless them today. Bless the ones that are reading your word or promoting your word today, Lord. Um, Also, Lord, um, thank you for all the blessings you have been giving me. It's great. Send me more blessings. Continue to send me those blessings, and anything you help me with, Lord, I am very grateful for. I'm glad you showed me the way. I'm glad I listened to you, and I'm glad sometimes I'm even unaware of listening to you. So, Lord, thank you for all that. Um, Lord, anybody that's dealing with traumatic matters or something bad today, bless them. Um, and also, Lord, help them get out of those bad spots. If you need somebody to help them, um, let this prayer be the prayer they need for the day, Lord. Um, Also, Lord, um, bless Melanie Mack as always. She always needs you. And you can always go and help her and make her feel better. Every day, Lord, I pray for her and I just pray that she feels better. She goes through a hard time. She don't understand stuff, Lord. So if you could make it so she sees me trying to help her in a direction and get her on the back into the direction, and Lord, you might want to start teaching that people doing OnlyFans need to pull away from that. Lord, if you need to do something bad to the website, unfortunately, we need to have something done to the website. I know I don't like doing things like that, but if you could go do something to the website, bring it down for a while or something, or like the people running the business over there, have them put it in their hearts that they need to change it and make it change to where it's not a site related back to porn, Lord, and make sure the whole porn industry, you know, um, make sure people are changing their hearts and they're not accepting it anymore or like anything like that. Because Lord, we need change in this world and we need it soon, Lord. And make sure people doing OnlyFans aren't forcing that down anybody's throat because we don't all need to see that, and make sure that the people doing that, if they are doing that, make sure they understand that it's unhealthy, it's unreasonable, and nobody needs to know about it, Lord. And also, if they really, really want to get away from that industry, the sex industry, the porn industry, you know, give them a way out. Give them a way out and give them a way to escape instead of making money that way, Lord. I know a lot of people rely on making money that way, but make it feel like it's wrong. Make people realize it's wrong, you know. And if people are, having pleasure that way, I pray you do something. Unfortunately, this is, if they're having sexual intercourse on a camera, Lord, by all means, curse them, give them a disease, so they need to understand that they can't be doing that on camera, Lord. And anybody doing that, make sure they're having not a good time doing it. Make sure there's some sort of like pain or something that comes out of it, Lord. We can't be blessing these people. We can't be continue to make this happen. We need to make sure this stops. And Lord, as for prostitution in general and things like that, make sure that gets put to a stop, Lord. Anybody dealing with that, make them fall away from it. And Lord, trafficking, make sure you pound your fist in that spot too. Any man controlling women or in a group like that and trafficking women, um, you know, do something that's gonna smite them so they understand not to do it. And Lord, and pull the people dealing with it away from that. In Jesus' name, amen. So there you go. There you have it. Hopefully these prayers get answered and we see some changes in the world. The whole industry of things really, really needs to be stopped. And, it's hard for any one single person to stop it. So it does take time and work, but by all means, if it needs to be done, then that's good. But anyway, guys, I'm over my time. I'm 5 minutes over. Um, Actually, I'm almost 15 minutes over. So if you like this here, hit the like button. If you liked it, also hit the subscribe button, and you will be blessed by God. And also, if you subscribe to it, hit the notification bell, and you'll know when I come on next. And that's that. Take it easy. Have a good day, and God bless you.